reality. Right now, final score on BBC One with Mark Chapman.
Hello, welcome to Final Score. Now, I've looked at other football results programmes, but they don't have very nice-looking cows. I have by far the best-looking cows on my sofa in Garth, Crooks and Matt Holland. We will hear them moo shortly, but first, this is how the Barclays Premier League is shaping up this afternoon. Birmingham 2-0 up on Blackpool thanks to goals from Liam Ridgewell and Nikola Zigic. They're on course for their first win in 7 are the Blues. The league leaders are ahead at Stamford Bridge thanks to Florent Malouda's 23rd minute goal. It's Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 0. Richard Dunn's own goal midway through the first half has given Steve Bruce's men the lead. Earlier on, it finished 1-1 between Spurs and Everton. Leighton Baines put the visitors ahead with a fantastic free kick. Rafael van der Vaart with his 5th of the season just 3 minutes later, equalising for Harry Redknapp's side. West Brom are 2-1 up on Fulham. Scott Carson's unfortunate own goal put the visitors ahead, but the Baggies have hit back with goals from Yusuf Malumbu and Marc-Antoine Fortuné. West Ham Newcastle is the evening kickoff, kicks off at 5:30, and Wigan and Bolton are 1-1 at the moment. Johan Almanda has just brought Bolton level after Hugo Rodallega's opener, but that is just half the story at the DW Stadium. We'll go there shortly, but we begin our roundup and go around the grounds at Stamford Bridge. David Garrido watching Chelsea against Wolves.
And the home side lead by a 1-0. Fairly comfortable as it stands. Florent Malouda with that striker's side-footed finish from around the penalty spot after Nicolas Anelka had combined well with Yuri Zhirkov. Didier Drogba also had a shot cleared off the line before the break. And Jose Bosingwa has been impressive on his return to the side after a year out. He did come off the bench against Aston Villa, but this is the first time that he's started a game in around 12 months. And Chelsea just trying to turn the screw here as Solomon Kalou advances forward, but that will go out for a Chelsea corner. Hasn't been completely one-sided, though. Wolves have had their chances as well. Kevin Doyle, Nenad Milayas, Van Dam and Stearman all spurning their opportunities. And interestingly, Stephen Hunt came on as a sub at the start of the second half. Every single touch booed by the home crowd. Chelsea supporters, of course, won't forget that clash with Petr Cech that left the keeper wearing a protective skull cap. But Chelsea on course for their 10th straight home league win as it stands. They lead Wolves by 1-0.
Two sides who began the day in the bottom 3 in the Championship, meeting at Deepdale, and Crystal Palace have pulled one back through Andy Dorman. They trail by 4-2. To the Hawthorns, West Brom Fulham, where Steve Lee's been enjoying a really good game of football.
It has indeed. West Brom 2, Fulham 1. After nicking that memorable point at Old Trafford last weekend, West Brom could be heading for all 3 here this afternoon. They started pretty sloppily, though. Zoltan Guerra's 9th minute shot hitting the post, and then the unfortunate Scott Carson before going into the net. The former Albion player didn't celebrate, but Di Matteo's side are nothing if not full of character. They fought back really well, and Brunt's through ball allowed Malumbu to equalise. And just before half-time, Jerome Thomas, who's been the pick of the West Brom midfield, in my opinion, created a goal for Fortuné. 2-1 it is. It's been good stuff in the second half. Shana's missed a great chance for West Brom, and Fulham in a strangely well, I would say it's olive green sort of shirts are trying to get back in the game. 2-1 West Brom.
It's horrible, whatever it is. Adam Lafondra's 2nd of the afternoon. His 12th league goal of the season means Rotherham are now 3-3 with Wycombe. Wycombe had been 2-0 up at the Don Valley Stadium in League 2. And Kilmarnock are coming back now against Inverness Cally Thistle. 4th place in the SPL, Inverness Cally Thistle. Marinho Rui Miguel with, around 15 minutes left. Now, I said earlier it was Wigan 1, Bolton 1 at the DW Stadium, but that's only half the story. Mark Webber can tell us about what looked like a sickening injury that could dominate the headlines from this game.
Indeed, Mark, a dirty derby. Saw a Wigan player stretchered off, yellow cards up plenty, and an equaliser against the run of play. The game came alive for all the wrong reasons when James McCarthy was stretchered off when he clashed with Fabrice Muamba about 30 minutes in. Muamba didn't get a yellow card there for that, but Gary Cahill and Paul Robinson did for later challenges as Bolton looked to play an intense foul-laden game. This only seemed to boost Wigan, who broke the deadlock when Rodallega picked up on Di Santo's short pass Some said he was offside, but they left the back door open, allowing Johan Elmander to tap in the equaliser against the run of play. Wigan still attacking again now, 1-1.
To St Andrews, where Ivan Gaskell is watching Birmingham against Blackpool.
Yes, we're inside the final quarter of an hour here, and the wheels may not quite have come off Blackpool's much talked about roller coaster ride of a season, but they're certainly in need of a pretty large drop of oil at the moment. Birmingham pretty much untroubled here. First, Ridgewell reacting to a Zigic header which bounced back off the crossbar, then Zigic himself, a real giant, reacting quickly when Charlie Adam bizarrely miscontrolled in his own 6-yard box. Birmingham on the verge of their first win in 7 league games. Blackpool suffering a rather soggy trip away from the seaside. 2-0 Birmingham.
Such is the nature of the Premier League that win for Birmingham, if everything stayed as it is at the moment, would take them from 17th all the way up to 11th. Now, at the Stadium of Light, Aston Villa started like a house on fire against Sunderland, but then it all went wrong for them, Steve Sutton.
Yes, it's Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 0 mark. I'll tell you what, it's bitterly cold at the Stadium of Light, but this game is red hot. Sunderland's goal came from Richard Dunn, an own goal midway through the half. Before then, though, it had been all Villa. They hit the post. Stuart Downing with a good shot hitting the post. A good penalty appeal from Rio Coca, turned down. Then that own goal. This second half, it's been all Villa, but they can't make the breakthrough. Sunderland 1, Villa 0.
Southampton were a goal down at St Mary's, but they've turned it round. They now lead Oldham by 2-1. Alec Chamberlain with that goal. The early kick-off in the Premier League was at White Hart Lane. It finished Spurs 1, Everton 1. Here's Simon Brotherton.
Tottenham Crouch knocked it back across the goal from the far post, and Van der Vaart scored from an inch. It was a bad mistake by the goalkeeper. Both teams had plenty of the play as the match wore on, but no further goals were forthcoming. It finished Tottenham 1, Everton 1.
Swindon down to 10 men in that game at the County Ground, and now they're behind as well. Alex Revel has put the away side Leyton Orient ahead there, 2-1. It's been a good afternoon of football. There have been plenty of chances. Just as far as the early kick-off is concerned, you think both Spurs and Everton will be happy with a point from that game?
I think particularly Spurs, to be honest. I thought on the back of what's been a really difficult week, going to Fulham, Milan, 10 men for a long time, I think Harry will be pleased with the performance and the result.
Goal at Chelsea.
There is a goal at Chelsea. Should we go straight there? Then let's go there. David Garrido can tell us whether it's all over for Wolves.
It appears to be the case, yes, Chapman, because Solomon Kalou has just managed to put Chelsea 2-0 up. A lovely flow move once again. 1-2's into Drogba, and then he just side-footed home into the near post, beating Marcus Hahnemann. It has been coming, this Chelsea, with plenty of chances in the second half. They've pretty much dominated, just not found that vital second goal. They have now. Chelsea 2, Wolves 0.
Saying to Matt there, Garth, there's been some good football this afternoon, and that sums it up. A really nice move.
I think David Garrido summed it up very well. It has been coming. It's not been a virtuoso performance by Chelsea. They always seem to be doing just enough. They were happy to play, unlike we thought that Wolves would sit in and make it very hard. They didn't. Chelsea offered them to play. Wolves accepted, so it's been an open game. But really, Chelsea have always had a little bit too much for them.
I'll tell you who's really impressed me, West Brom today. I think they've been excellent. I think they've been impressive. I mean, they've been adventurous. I saw them at Old Trafford last week, and when it went to 2-2, they looked the most likely to get the winner. So they've really impressed me today.
But we ought to say about Wolves that the first 15 minutes of the first half, they gave as good as they got, and they also started the second half quite well.
Well, particularly without two defensive midfielders in Mansi and, of course, a Chelsea player who can't play, and Carl Henry, who's suspended. I thought it was going to be a tough afternoon for them, but they've played pretty well.
They have played well.
Haven't they?
Colchester back on level terms against Notts County. Dundee were 2-0 down against Scottish League One leaders Dunfermline. They're back on level terms through Sean Higgins. And is it all over in that game between two sides in the relegation zone in League One? Ian Thomas Moore, 12 minutes left to score a penalty, which means it's Walsall 1, Tranmere 3. All the goals this afternoon in the Championship, or the most goals indeed, have come at Deepdale. James Mason's been watching Preston Palace.
Yes, and I'll try and wrap it up for you, chappers. It's been a fantastic game. Preston 4, Crystal Palace 2, and this was billed as a must-win game for both sides beforehand, wasn't it? But it's Preston that have dominated throughout. 2 goals from John Parkin, either side of a wonderful strike from Palace's Owen Garvin, put them into a 2-1 lead. But a thunderbolt from Keith Treacy made it 3-1, and a second half Callum Davidson penalty all but sealed the points. But an Andy Dorman header for Palace has made the last 15 minutes or so very interesting. It's 4-2.
Carlisle were 3-0 down against Charlton this afternoon. Gary Medine is their top scorer, his 7th of the season. Means they're now back on level terms. Carlisle 3, Charlton 3. Q1 very unhappy Matt Holland. Are Watford any closer to getting back on level terms at Vicarage Road? Scunthorpe are the visitors. Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes.
No, they're not. They're still losing 2-0 to Scunthorpe. Scunthorpe said they came here full of confidence after their first win in 5 midweek, and that confidence has proved a good match for Watford's young stars, who of course won 3 in 5 to leave them third in the league. Well, they were. I don't think they will be at the end of today, and there's been no reply from them. Both goals from Scunthorpe came in the first half, and despite Watford having the best scoring record in the Championship, they've really struggled to make any kind of impact in front of goal. So at the moment, I can't see the scoreline changing too much. With about halfway through the second half, is Watford 0, Scunthorpe 2.
And the away side are ahead at Turf Moor as well this afternoon, which is something of a surprise, Naz Premji.
It certainly is. Burnley 0, Reading 2. The Royals putting in a regal performance so far, leading courtesy of a Shane Long spot kick and Joby McAnuff's lovely curling effort into the bottom corner. The referee, Neil Miller, will not be welcome back in this town anytime soon. 2 very clear penalty shouts he turned down, which incensed Brian Laws and the majority of the 14,895 that are in here. It's Burnley 0, Reading 2.
Said the most goals this afternoon had come at Deepdale in the Championship, and there could be another one. James Mason.
There could be. There's a penalty to Crystal Palace. You can probably hear the boos around me because it didn't look like it was a penalty, but James Vaughan will take it and scores for Crystal Palace. So late drama, Chappers, with about 11 minutes on the clock. It's now Preston 4, Crystal Palace 3.
He's on loan from Everton, is James Vaughan. That's his 4th goal for Palace this season. At Carrow Road this afternoon, it's Norwich against managerless Middlesbrough. And how are they doing without Gordon Strachan in the dugout? Tony Lockwood.
They're losing mark, and that wretched away record shows no signs of ending. If it stays this way, it will be a 6th consecutive league defeat on the road for a managerless club. Simeon Jackson with the simplest of finishes after Anthony McNamee's cross had been helped on by Grant Holt. Isn't Jackson settling in well to his new surroundings? Croft struck the bows for the Canaries, whose home record has been cause for concern. Middlesbrough have enjoyed long periods of possession, but that is little consolation. They're a club short on confidence and out of form. Less than 10 left. Norwich 1, Borough 0.
And a Norwich man who is on loan at Gillingham, Cody MacDonald, has scored at Priestfield. They lead Torquay by 1-0. Chesterfield 4-1 up on Shrewsbury. Mark Wright with the goal for the away side. Now, around 3 o'clock this afternoon, this news came through on Portsmouth. Tim Stocks, who's part of Sasha Geidemark's legal team, has recommended that Portsmouth's former owner signs a deal which will set out the payment schedule for around the £2.2 million that he is owed. Stocks went on to say, my instructions are to work towards trying to get an agreement tonight, and I hope to do so. So that would mean that the club is saved, that they won't be liquidated, which was one of the threats put out by the administrator around 8 o'clock last night. So good news off the pitch for Portsmouth fans, and good news on it. Harry Gratian.
Yes, Mark, it's certainly been a very impressive Portsmouth display, seemingly unconcerned at all about that particular news, because David Newton's quality finish on 45, followed up by Greg Halford's 47th minute free kick, meant Portsmouth were cruising. But Nick Barmby's 61st minute far post header has given them a chance, and either side can add to the tally at the moment. Portsmouth lead 2-1, 8 left.
Roy Keane hasn't been that complimentary about Ipswich fans this week, and he also told them to forget about promotion, which on the evidence, Andrew James, is probably the right thing to have said.
I'd say so, Mark. He's not been a bad judge so far. Forest 2-0 ahead, both goals in the first half. David McGoldrick with his first goal of the season on his first start, and Lewis McGugan, the man in form, his 7th in 8 games, with a brilliant free kick from him. We've seen little from Ipswich. They've got all 3 subs on. They did hit the bar earlier on in the first half from Jack Colbeck, but otherwise it's been all Forest, and they're heading for 26 unbeaten in the league here at the City Ground. Forest 2, Ipswich 0.
Neil Mellor's 3rd goal of the season, former Liverpool striker, of course, has got an equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday against second place Bournemouth. 1-1 at Hillsborough. 8 minutes to go. Into the SPL, Motherwell Dundee United at Fir Park. Ian Turner.
Yeah, 8 minutes to go here as well. Motherwell 2, Dundee United 1, and rarely will a team score 3 times in a 3-goal match and end up losing. But that's what's going to happen to United today, because both Sean Dillon and Scott Severn have put the ball past their own keeper. The latest, Sean Dillon, after a great cross from the right from Chris Humphrey. But Motherwell deserve to win this one, and it looks as if they will. David Goodwillie, the only reply for United at the right end. 2-1 Motherwell.
Peter Houston isn't going to be happy with that, is it? 2 own goals for Dundee United. 10-man Swindon back in it at the county ground. Michael Rose is now 2-2 against Leyton Orient. I've told you that second-place Bournemouth are now drawing at Sheffield Wednesday. How are the League One leaders doing at home to Yeovil? John Anderson.
Heading for 3 more points here. Brighton 2, Yeovil 0. They had a strangely muted first half, but scored right at the end of it. Kazenga Luoluwa has been absolutely outstanding with a cross from the left, headed firmly into the net by Glenn Murray for his 5th of the season. And they wrapped it up early in the second half. A clever crossfield free kick by Marcos Painter found Inigo Calderon, who controlled beautifully before drilling a low shot diagonally into the corner. Brighton, the top dogs in the division, very much on top now. Brighton 2, Yeovil 0.
Colchester have turned it round, haven't they? Odigay's second of the afternoon means they now lead Notts County by 2-1. And Joe Kafur has given Bristol Rovers hope with just 5 minutes to go at Hartlepool. Let's find out more about that Neil Mellor goal for Sheffield Wednesday. Paul Addison.
Yes, Mark, Neil Mellor's off the bench to score. Alan Irvine brought both him and Gary Teal on at half-time after an abject Wednesday performance in the first half. They combined to get that equaliser. Teal's cross from the left and Mellor's finish from inside the area. It's 1-1.
So, from Sheffield Wednesday to another one of the League One so-called sleeping giants, Southampton, Andy Barwell.
And it's 2-1 to Southampton. Substitute Alex Chamberlain, and he'd been on the pitch for a matter of minutes, but he showed some great skill and a terrific finish to give Nigel Atkins' side the advantage. Oldham had taken the lead in the first half through Dean Furman. Jose Fonte levelled it up for the home side with a header from a set piece. Now it seems Southampton are on course for the win, thanks to one of their subs who wasn't grounded. Southampton 2, Oldham 1.
Haven't won in 4 games, haven't Reading? They're going to today. Naz Prenji.
They certainly are, Chappers. Burnley 0, Reading 3, rampant Reading. Shane Long with a cross from the left-hand side. It went across the face of goal, and sub Michail Antonio couldn't miss from a yard out. Burnley 0, Reading 3.
Back to the Premier League, and David Garrido at Stamford Bridge, where the referee's had his cards out.
He has booked a Richard Stearman for putting his arms up to block a ball in, and the result was a Chelsea free kick on the edge of the box, but nothing came of it. And yet more vitriol from the Chelsea fans for Stephen Hunt, certainly unbroadcastable, that's absolutely certain to say. Chelsea pressing for a 3rd goal here, but as it stands, very, very comfortable. If they just stay at 2-0, then it will be 5 played at home, 5 wins, 16 goals, none conceded, and they'll be 5 points clear at the top of the Barclays Premier League. Into injury time here, Chelsea 2-0 up.
1-1 at the DW Stadium, both sides pushing for a winner, Mark Webber.
Yeah, absolutely, but probably more Wigan, to be fair. They haven't been riled by that equaliser by Bolton. A few minutes ago, Rodallega having a corner just headed wide, but they fancy that they're going to push more at the moment. 1-1.
And, cool, that was quick, that caught me out. I was expecting him to talk for longer. To the Hawthorns, Steve Lee.
Yes, West Brom still leading 2-1 after a very good first half performance. Second half, not so many chances, and Fulham in this last 10 minutes or so starting to build up a bit of momentum as Mark Hughes directs his khaki troops from the touchline. They've had a few near misses as Albion are pushed further and further back. Albion, of course, went behind when Guerra's shot came off Scott Carson into the net. They hit back with goals from Malumbu and Fortune. We're now playing added time. It's 2-1 to Albion.
Would you believe it's just gone off the video printer, but Wickham are now 4-3 up at Rotherham. They were 2-0 up, they went 3-2 up, it was back to 3-3, and now they're 4-3 up with a Scott Rendell penalty. And a Rudy Scatchell hat-trick has put Hearts 3-0 up against bottom of the SPL, St Mirren. To the Stadium of Light, Steve Sutton, Aston Villa, any sign of an equaliser for them?
Well, they're certainly trying, Mark. I mean, they've thrown more kitchen sinks at the Sunderland defence than you'd find on an average housing estate, but still no breakthrough. Stuart Downing's just had an appeal for a penalty, turned down. He skipped into the box, past Phil Bardsley. Phil Bardsley put a foot out. Don't think there was any contact. Mark Halsey didn't point to the spot. That's the second penalty appeal they've had turned down. Richard Dunn's first half own goal, still separating the sides. Sunderland 1, Villa 0.
I've just seen a shot in the Blackpool-Birmingham game that the England Rugby League team would have been proud of this morning as they were beaten by New Zealand. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, and try as they might, Blackpool, I think if they play till midnight, I just don't think they'd score today. That spirit that's been so evident in their rise to the heights of the Premier League has been strangely absent today. Charlie Adam, so often the inspiration, was the man that really put the tin to put the cap on this performance and on this result. Birmingham 2-0 up thanks to Adams' miscontrol when he had chance to clear inside his own 6-yard box. He's subsequently been replaced, injured, and Blackpool have had so much possession in the last 10 or 15 minutes that on a different day they might well have punished Birmingham, who've really sat back since they scored that second goal. Zigic, the scorer, and strangely too, on a slightly bizarre afternoon, he was named man of the match. And at £6 million, I have to question the judgment. But still, he scored a goal, he created one, and Birmingham look like they're on course for a comfortable 3 points here. 2-0.
In League One, it is all over, isn't it, between Walsall and Tranmere. John Welsh's second of the afternoon means the visitors are 4-1 up, and they will go above Walsall in the relegation zone in League One at close of play today. The final whistle has gone at Stamford Bridge.
And Drogba, but for them it's now no win in 7. Wolves remain in the bottom 3, but the champions are 5 points clear, and they've now gone 781 minutes without conceding in the league at home. It's finished Chelsea 2, Wolves 0.
Bristol Rovers were 2 down with 5 minutes to go. They've now got it back to 2-2 against Hartlepool. Second goal as well for Shrewsbury. But the league leaders in League 2, Chesterfield, are looking like they're going to get 3 points there. They're 4-2 up. The final whistle has gone at the Hawthorns. It's another 3 points for West Brom, Steve Lee.
Yes, West Brom 2, Fulham 1. The West Brom adventure continues. Another 3 points after their recent heroics at Old Trafford and the Emirates. They didn't have it all their own way, though. Former baggy Zoltan Guerra's long-range shot hitting the post, and Scott Carson before ending up in the net after 9 minutes. But back came a very spirited Di Matteo side. Brunt's precision ball converted by Malumbo. Then Jerome Thomas's cutback was forced home by Fortune. Fairly even in the second half. Sharla missed the sitter, and Fulham staged a late rally. But in the end, boing time at the Hawthorns once again. West Brom 2, Fulham 1.
Former Stockport striker Carl Baker has sealed Coventry's win over Barnsley. It's 2-0, and as you can see, the final whistle has gone at St Andrews. Ivan Gaskell.
It's a pretty routine Birmingham victory in the end. Blackpool's much trumpeted spirit strangely lacking here. Birmingham's goals as much about Blackpool deficiency as Birmingham craft. First Zigic allowed to head against the bar, Ridgewell allowed to tidy up the rebound. Charlie Adams, so often the architect of Blackpool's success, this time architect of their own downfall really, strangely failing to deal with a straightforward clearance from inside his own 6-yard box. And the giant Zigic said thank you very much, or whatever the Croatian is for thank you very much. 2-0.
After those results, West Brom are 4th this evening in the Barclays Premier League. We'll get the thoughts of Garth and Matt on that in just a moment. But back to the Championship, Coventry-Barnsley. Let's hear about that Carl Baker goal with Mayo Banji.
Yeah, and it's Coventry 2, Barnsley 0. Now Carl Baker received the ball on the near side, ran at the Barnsley defence and then fired a fantastic shot under Luke Steele. It's rather unfortunate on Barnsley. They did fairly well in the second half, creating plenty of opportunities, but it is another away day without a point or even a victory here. It's 2-0 to Coventry.
Burnley's home record up until today was 1-5, drawn 1, lost none. You can put a 1 in the loss column now. They have been thumped, Naz Premji.
They certainly have. The full-time whistle's just gone, Chappers. Burnley 0, Reading 4. Simon Church putting a cap on this super regal Royals performance. Goals from Shane Long that started the rout. Joby McAnuff with a curling effort. Michael Antonio couldn't miss from 1 yard out late on in the second half, and Simon Church has just completed the rout in injury time to make it Burnley 0, Reading 4. The Clarets had 2 clear penalty shots turned down, which incensed everyone here, including Brian Laws. He wasn't a happy man at half-time, but take nothing away, Reading deserved this. It's Burnley 0, Reading 4.
Staying in the Championship, let's go to the game at the Liberty Stadium. Mark Bishop.
Yes, it's Swansea City 2, Leicester City 0. The honeymoon's over for Sven, no doubt about that. It's going to be Leicester's first defeat under Eriksson, undone by a Swansea side whose brand of delightful, quick passing has outfoxed the Foxes. We've just seen the second goal. The goal that's almost finished the game was still in play, by the way, from Scott Sinclair. Substitute Marvin Emnes, lovely dribble down the right-hand side to the byline. Crossed it, and there was Sinclair to make it 2-0. Emnes, he came on for the start of the second half. 2 minutes after he'd been on, made it 1-0 after latching on to the end of Monk's through ball, rifling the ball past Chris Wheel. Leicester had chances with a crossbar effort from Dyer, but in the end Swansea have beaten Leicester City by 1-0.
It just crept through there. It's already gone off the video printer. But Paul Benson's second of the afternoon has grabbed what looks like a late winner for Charlton at Carlisle in League One. Carlisle 3, Charlton 4. The full-time whistle has gone at DW Stadium. Wigan against Bolton. So many stories in this one, Mark Webber.
Absolutely. Wigan Athletic 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. A first half punctuated with fouls by Bolton and the stretching off of Wigan's James McCarthy from one of those tackles threatened to mar this whole derby. But the tasty tackles only seemed to inspire Wigan to get the first goal. And Hugo Rodallega showed some northern soul on the hour with a tap-in from De Santo through ball. But Bolton saw the back door ajar and crept in like a cheeky kid hungry for freshly cooked jam tarts. Johan Elmander duly obliged from the Wigan goal mouth. Earlier on, before the full-time whistle, Wigan teammates Alcaraz and Cordwell arguing they had to be separated by Howard Webb. As tasty as a Wigan pie, this one, perhaps for the wrong reasons. Wigan 1, Bolton 1.
Give them both a jam tart, they'll be happy. Torquay have equalised at Gillingham. Kevin Nicholson right on the 90. Coventry now 3 up on Barnsley. And
Holland hung on. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 0.
Back to the Rico, another late goal, Maya Banji.
Yeah, Jordan Clark this time, Coventry 3, Barnsley 0. Got the ball on the right-hand side, curled it across Luke Steele with a fantastic finish. It's Coventry 3, Barnsley 0 now.
And to Carrow Road, Tony Lockwood, full-time Norwich Middlesbrough.
A miserable week for managerless Middlesbrough ends with another damaging defeat. They're yet to win away. This from a club who were expected to be promotion contenders. Simeon Jackson scored the winner from just a few yards out. Andrew Crofts hit the Borough post. The Teessiders with long spells of possession, no finish. Scott McDonald spurning their best chance. He should have scored. Borough lose again. Norwich 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Watford have had a very good start to the season in the Championship, but this afternoon, Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes, their bubble has been pricked.
It has. They've lost 2-0 to Scunthorpe. You described them earlier as the surprise package of the league this season. Well, this has been a surprise defeat for Malky Mackay's skillful youngsters who've been on form so much recently. But Scunthorpe have been solid and actually they had their fair share of skill and attractive passing. Both their goals came in the first half, and Watford failed to find a way of coming back into the game in the second. And depending on other results today, this win could move Scunthorpe up into mid-table. The full-time scorer here at Vicarage Road, Watford 0, Scunthorpe 2.
A lot of injury time at the City Ground. Andrew James has been watching Forest Ipswich.
Yes, finished 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. Marked the goals in the first half. David McGoldrick and a great free kick from Lewis McGugan. His 7th goal in 8 games for Nottingham Forest. Little of note in the second half. Ipswich did hit the bar in the first half through Jack Colbeck. And after a week in which a Manchester United high-profile person has taken all the headlines, I wonder how long it'll be before a former high-profile person at Manchester United is back in the headlines. Ipswich are a side in decline. Forest 2, Ipswich 0.
Two sides in the bottom 3 in the Championship met at Deepdale this afternoon, but they produced a cracker for James Mason.
They did indeed, Mark. Preston North End 4, Crystal Palace 3. Two sides at the wrong end of the Championship, as you say, but this was a fantastic game. Preston had led 4-1 with 24 minutes to go, but goals from Andy Dorman and James Vaughan for Palace provided for a nervy finish. John Parkin put Preston ahead twice, scoring either side of an Owen Garvin wonder strike before Keith Treacy put the home side 3-1 up with his own magical strike. A Callum Davidson second half penalty all but secured the 3 points, and the late Crystal Palace goals provided drama but were too little too late. It ended Preston 4, Crystal Palace 3.
Into League One, where the leaders are still going strong. John Anderson.
Yes, they are. They've won by 2-0 against Yeovil, thanks to a goal in each half, which keeps their promotion aspirations very much on course. Although they were strangely muted in the first half, Brighton took the lead 3 minutes from the end of it. Glenn Murray heading in his 5th of the season from the outstanding Kazenga Lualua's cross. They then doubled the lead early in the second half and never looked back. Marcos Painter's clever crossfield free kick found Inigo Calderon, who controlled brilliantly before drilling a low shot diagonally into the corner to maintain both Brighton's unbeaten home record and their top spot. Brighton 2, Yeovil 0.
Not quite as comfortable for the League Two leaders. There was a little bit of squeaky bum time at the end, wasn't there, Alan Biggs?
Yeah, there certainly was, Mark. 4-0 to the good, and then 3 late goals from Shrewsbury had the nerve end shredded. But that's what they've come to expect at the B2 Net Stadium. Chesterfield 4, Shrewsbury 3, by the way. 33 goals have been scored in 7 games here this season. 22 of them by Chesterfield, watched today by a record crowd for this new ground of 7,777. boy, they'll be back. Drew Talbot put Chesterfield in front. Good goal. Jack Lester, near post header. Another excellent finish. Craig Davis, a ripper from 30 yards. Watch that one on the Football League show for 3-0. Davis again for 4-0, his 10th of the season. And then Mark Wright, Kevin McIntyre and Craig Disley at the end. Disley were dizzy here. Chesterfield 4, Shrewsbury 3.
It is exactly 5 o'clock. Time for the classified football results now on BBC One with Roger Johnson.
Thanks, Mark. We start as ever in the Barclays Premier League. Birmingham City 2, Blackpool 0. Chelsea 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 0. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 1. West Bromwich Albion 2, Fulham 1. West Ham and Newcastle kicks off shortly. Wigan Athletic 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. In the N-Power Championship, Burnley 0, Reading 4. Coventry City 3, Barnsley 0. Doncaster Rovers against Sheffield United kicks off shortly. Hull City 1, Portsmouth 2. Millwall 2, Derby County 0. Norwich City 1, Middlesbrough 0. Nottingham Forest 2, Ipswich Town 0. Preston North End 4, Crystal Palace 3. Swansea City 2, Leicester City 0. And Watford 0, Scunthorpe United 2. In N-Power League 1, Brentford 2, Peterborough United 1. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Yeovil Town 0. Carlisle United 3, Charlton Athletic 4. Colchester United 2, Notts County 1. Hartlepool United 2, Bristol Rovers 2. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Exeter City 0. Plymouth Argyle 2, Huddersfield Town 1. Rochdale 3, Dagenham and Redbridge 2. Sheffield Wednesday 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. Southampton 2, Oldham Athletic 1. Swindon Town 2, Leyton Orient 2. And Walsall 1, Tranmere Rovers 4. In Empire League 2, Barnet 1, Macclesfield Town 0. Burton Albion 3, Bradford City 0. Bury 1, Southend United 0. Cheltenham Town 0, Port Vale 0. Chesterfield 4, Shrewsbury Town 3. Crewe Alexandra 3, Aldershot Town 1. Gillingham 1, Torquay United 1. Hereford United 1, Accrington Stanley 1. Lincoln City 0, Stockport County 0. Morecambe 0, Stevenage 0. Oxford United 3, Northampton Town 1. And Rotherham United 3, Wycombe Wanderers 4. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 4, Hibernian 2. Hamilton Academical 1, St Johnstone 2. Hearts 3, St Mirren 0. Kilmarnock 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 2. And Motherwell 2, Dundee United 1. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1. Cowdenbeath 2, Greenock Morton 2. Dundee 2, Dunfermline Athletic 2. Queen of the South 1, Falkirk 5. Wraith Rovers 1, Ross County 0. And Stirling Albion 4, Partick Thistle 2. Iron Brew Scottish Division 2. Ayr United 2, Alder Athletic 1. Brecon City 3, Airdrie United 1. East Fife 1, Forfar Athletic 3. Livingston 1, Peterhead 0. And Stenhouse Muir 4, Dumbarton 0. And just two results to bring you finally from the Principality Building Society Welsh Premier. Neath 0, Bangor City 0. And Newtown 1, Haverfordwest 1.
So let's have a look at what all those results do to the tables this evening. In the Barclays Premier League, Chelsea have stretched their lead to 5 points after the 2-0 win over Wolves. Second place Manchester City take on fifth place Arsenal at Eastlands tomorrow. Spurs go up a couple following their 1-1 draw with Everton. Just below them on goal difference, West Brom, who move into the top 4 after that win over Fulham. Manchester United will climb back into the top 3 though if they beat Stoke tomorrow. Bottom side West Ham kick off in just under half an hour against Newcastle. A point will be enough to lift them above Wolves, who slip a place after that defeat at Chelsea. Liverpool will get out of the relegation zone if they win against Blackburn tomorrow. Leaders QPR were held by bottom side Bristol City in the Championship last night, which means Cardiff can go joint top if they win at Leeds on Monday. Informed Swansea handed Sven-Göran Eriksson a first defeat as Leicester boss, while fourth place Norwich beat managerless Middlesbrough. Reading are up to 8th, while some good news at last for Portsmouth fans. Victory at Hull takes them into the top half. Crystal Palace sink to second bottom after losing at Preston, who climb out of the relegation zone. Defeat for Borough means they drop into the bottom 3. Brighton's win against Yeovil stretches their lead at the top of League One to 6 points. Second place Bournemouth drew at Sheffield Wednesday, while Peterborough lose ground following defeat at Brentford. Huddersfield also slipped up, losing 2-1 at Plymouth. Defeat at Rochdale means Dagenham and Redbridge drop to the foot of League One. Tranmere move off the bottom after a 4-1 win at Walsall. Leyton Orient replace Brentford in the bottom 4. Chesterfield lead the way by 3 points in League Two after holding on for a 4-3 win against Shrewsbury. Nearest rivals Port Vale lost ground at Cheltenham, where they were held to a second successive goalless draw. Bury are third after beating Southend. Rotherham drop one after a 4-3 defeat at home to Wycombe. Bottom side Hereford drew at home to Accrington and are now level on points with Northampton, who lost at Oxford. Barnet climb out of the relegation zone thanks to their win against Macclesfield. In the SPL, the top 2 meet at Celtic Park tomorrow. Motherwell are 8 points behind in third place after beating Dundee United 2-1. Bottom side St Mirren suffered a 3-0 defeat at Hearts and they remain a point adrift of Hamilton. They are the tables. Here are the headlines in the Premier League. The Baggies are in the top 4 after coming from behind to beat Fulham. Goals from Yusuf Malumbu and Marc-Antoine Fortuné. Finished all square. Goals from Liam Ridgewell and Nikola Zigic give Birmingham victory against Blackpool, their first win in 7 games. And Johan Almander gives Bolton a share of the points at the DW Stadium after Hugo Rodallega's opener for the home side. All the goals, all the talking points from the Premier League tonight. Match of the day at 10:30 on BBC One. The Football League show follows Match of the Day. That's at 10 to midnight. If you want some live football, then Doncaster against Sheffield United is live on BBC Two now. It's a 5:15 kick-off. And then the whole weekend rounded up with Colin and the team. Match of the Day 2 tomorrow night, BBC Two, 10 o'clock. And well done to our headline writers on some of the headlines there. We were very impressed. So, Chelsea 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League this evening. John Motson was at Stamford Bridge for their 2-0 victory over Wolves. And Motti, Wolves gave it a go, but it was all routine for Chelsea in the end.
Yes, it was. I think if Chelsea's finishing and their final pass had been as good as their possession and their approach work, this could have been another 5 or 6, which they seem to make a habit of scoring here. But I would have to say that you give Wolves marks for the way they dug in. There was some good last-ditch defending, notably by Christoph Berra and Marcus Hahnemann. And in the end, it was efficiency, really, that got Chelsea the points. And, of course, a 5-point lead. The good news for Chelsea is they keep another clean sheet, so they haven't conceded a league goal here, Mark, at Stamford Bridge since the end of March, when John Carew scored for Aston Villa. Didn't do them much good. They lost 7-1. And the bad news for Wolves is they now go to Manchester United in the Carling Cup, and their next 3 Premiership opponents are Manchester City, Manchester United and Arsenal.
And, Motti, we're on the red button from half to every afternoon. We spoke at the start of the programme about this was a strong side that Carlo Ancelotti played. He didn't play 2 or 3 kids, which maybe some of the other so-called Big Four might have done at home to Wolves.
Absolutely. I mean, he is, of course, without Lampard and Ramirez at the moment through injury, but he did. He brought Basingwa back in at right back, who I thought had an excellent game. Ashley Cole on the left as well, and in the first half particularly, Zirkov played very well on the left-hand side of midfield. But no, you're right, Drogba, Malouda and Anelka were all there. It was just that today, I think, Drogba coming back after 2 games out with a virus, perhaps not quite at his sharpest. The same could be said of Anelka, but Chelsea have got so much in hand. I know it's only October, but to be honest with you, they're playing like a team who look as if they're going to retain their title.
John Mosson at Stamford Bridge, thank you very much. Garth, your performance of the day or your story of the day, where would you say it is?
I would go to Wigan Bolton, and it'd be interesting to see how the viewers, when they watch Match of the Day, see the performance of Howard Webb, how he really has to work very, very hard to keep what is normally a routine game really under control. Started by the tackle of Fabrice Muamba on McCarthy. It was a reckless tackle, I thought. I've got to say that. Straight ball came through him, nothing done about it. And, of course, Fulham, for me, were poor at West Bromwich Albion, as were Villa at Sunderland.
I want to talk to you about West Brom's win over Fulham, Matt, in just a second. But first of all, let's hear from Roberto Di Matteo.
Top 4. Did you honestly think at this stage of the season you'd be there?
No, I haven't looked at the table. We haven't been looking at the table. It's not important where we stand now. It's important where we're going to be at the end of the season, really.
Just that little blot that you do start games sluggishly, you had to come from behind again. Is that worrying for you?
No, if we win 2-1, I'm not too concerned. No, of course, we don't want to go 1 down or 2 down, and we tend to do that in the last few games, and we're working on it. We're trying to avoid going 1 down, but we can score goals and we create chances. So we need to get better. We know that we have to improve. But at the moment, we're winning and we're doing well. So not too bad.
He's very chilled. And he's not getting carried away, is he?
Not too bad. 4th in the league. I mean, it's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Impressive they were today. They're adventurous. I thought Chris Brunt and Jerome Thomas in midfield were very good. And this is without Graham Dorrans, who was their star performer last season. So I thought it was a very good performance from them.
And we spoke at the start as well about, all right, draw at Manchester United, win at Arsenal, but they need to win these games as well.
Absolutely, and they've done it today. They're showing themselves to be a team capable of coping and living in the Premier League.
Do you think we're going to hear more about this James McCarthy injury and the tackle on him over the coming days? Because it's a trend that's developing this season.
It is a trend. I'll be very interested to see what the boys on Match of the Day say tonight.
Match of the Day, 10:30. It was a bad tackle.
It was a bad tackle, and it came, midway through his own half as well. James McCarthy, he's absolutely going nowhere, so he didn't need to make the challenge.
Wigan and Bolton fans, you might want to have your say on that tackle and everything else on 6:06 this evening. It's with that bloke on the right and Robbie Savage. 6 minutes past 6 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere, honestly. I know.
No,
That Robbie Savage. We're out of time, Garth. We can't argue anymore. See you soon. Bye-bye.